Welcome to Carlie's Couch. Thanks for joining me, Lextopia and CC Fierce here to my right. If you're watching the podcast on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to YouTube if you want to watch. Phone has not been blinking out lately, so you can't watch the full video. And thank you for those who listen to iTunes to help us get our numbers up. Share the podcast with others. Leave a 5-star review. Leave us a review about what you think about the episodes, and you leave your comments on the website too. So you can engage us anywhere. We love to talk back. And we have one review today that we can read.
Shout out to Jonathan Nate Lowe. Bird's Eye View, and it's a 5-star rating. Bird's Eye View. Guess I'll be Spartacus for Professor Lex in 2020. So Hakuna Matata. Love what you've discussed so far this year, or this far in the new year. Episode 75, featuring Black Canary and Bluebird, will hit home with a lot of listeners. We learn more from failures compared to our biggest victories these days. Another live episode would be nice as well, and keep up the great work, ladies. Yours truly, Nate Lowe.
Thanks, Nate. We appreciate you for listening as always. Always being the first to like our videos.
Comment.
Hopefully you're sharing them. Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, and so what we want to talk about today is not just taking risks, but thinking about the times in your life that you have acted reckless and what that balance is between reckless and being impulsive and being spontaneous, and things being well thought out and you living more of a cautious life. So we're going to talk about what that looks like for us and kind of our thought process on it. So Carlie, I'll start with asking you, do you feel like a person who is very experienced? Do you feel like you've tried a lot in life?
I do. Interesting. I saw the title of the episode and I was really excited. I was like, ooh, never have I ever. But I do feel like I've experienced a lot. What about you?
But what? Why do you think that?
I just look back over like all the things that I've done that I never even knew existed or thought that I would be able to do, from traveling to like different countries and trying things and like last minute trips, out of the country, traveling by myself, trying different foods, trying different things, like having meals with people in different countries who don't speak the same language. Just like a lot of it, I guess, is around travel, just because I was never exposed to that and didn't know what that could look like when I was younger. But I think I do have a breadth of experience in a whole bunch of areas. There are a lot that I'm also not as experienced in, but there's a lot that I have been able to see. Okay.
And I feel like I'm a person who's very experienced in almost any category I can think of. Maybe I'm forgetting something or not thinking about something, and that's not to say I've tried anything, but I can't think of anything that I'm afraid of or that I wouldn't try, and I've tried a lot of things. So the title, as Carlie alluded to earlier to this episode, is Never Have I Ever, and we called it that because never have I ever. Have you played that before? So Never Have I Ever is a game that you usually play. It could be a drinking game, or you can just play it regular. And you are saying things that you have never done, hoping that those who are around the table with you have done them and hoping to get them out. So when you get somebody out, then they have to drink, of course. But it's kind of to test the limits of like, who's done this thing or that thing, to kind of learn about who people are.
Have you ever played it not drinking?
No.
That's all.
Or maybe
you said drinking or not drinking.
I mean, you could do it not drinking. Maybe I have. I don't remember what we were doing.
I was anytime I've ever played, it's usually drinking. But then also one of our friends has a game of like cards that has questions. And I remember you gave me that stack and you're like, "What have you done in these?"
Yep. So, and I think that was for a drinking game too. But you could do whatever you want to do with it. And so, what's your experience typically like when you're playing Never Have I Ever?
I mean, I like to learn about people. I like people to ask different questions and not the same like boring ones. So like try to bring out different sides and different stuff of people that normally you wouldn't discuss. I'm usually not the first person out though. And so I don't know if that's what you're saying, like what my experience is.
Yeah. Do you usually, it's a lot of things you've done, haven't done, like when you're typically in like groups of other people where you feel like you fall?
I'm kind of more towards have, but like if it's a scale of like 1 to 10, 10 being like experience doing a lot of things, 1 being not, I'm probably like around a 7 or an 8.
And also not just thinking like experience, like having done things or tried things, but it's also tends to be a lot of things like that you shouldn't be doing, like breaking rules, breaking laws, stuff like that. So it's not necessarily that I'm just talking about what are cool things that we've done, but really talking about where have you jumped those lines and what is the line between being responsible but also having that full life and how we feel about that. When I've played Never Have I Ever, typically I don't know, I'm typically like at the top. I mean, not over the middle as far as things that I've done. It just totally depends on like what level they're taking stuff to.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm saying I'm pretty even like at the top in different levels, like I said before. So me and Carlie are gonna play Never Have I Ever, and we'll do the first to 3, I think, and so we'll go back and forth. And so one of us will ask a question, and then if you haven't done it, if you have done it, you put your finger down. And if you haven't, I leave it up.
You didn't bring.
We should have had some shots, but I don't.
She failed. Do you want to start since?
Well, the thing is, so to do it strategically, I'll try to think of things you haven't done. So,
okay.
I mean, I'll try to think of things you have that you would have done that I haven't done, which makes it harder for me.
Dun dun dun.
Dang. I forgot that I was playing against you.
What does that mean?
Because I'm trying not to say nothing too random that I know you wouldn't have done. Never have I ever baked a cake for a man.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, the disrespect. And I know something, which you mentioned this on a podcast. I mean, I guess I could do it. Never have I ever skipped a final to go see a man.
Okay. I can't say something that I've done. Dang. Never have I ever hit somebody's car from behind.
Does backing into somebody's car count?
No.
Okay, well then I'm good. No, there's a story behind that. Never have I ever dined and dashed.
I'm pretty. Oh yeah. Damn, I did do that last year actually.
Okay.
At Truth in Hollywood. Never have I ever been to the desert, a desert.
Oh, really?
Maybe, I don't know. I can't think of anything right now.
Let's see. Never have I ever ridden a camel.
Nope.
Dang, I feel like Gypsy King had a camel. I don't know.
Nope. Never have I ever shoveled snow.
Nah.
Damn.
In Oklahoma, we have ice. You can't shovel that. You just can't leave your driveway. Never have I ever broken a bone.
Nope. Never have I ever damn, I've done everything I'm trying to ask about, and I don't want to be out. How about never have I ever sucked a man's toes?
Hell no.
But I think I might have actually, so I think I might be out.
So you out?
I think I'm out. Because I think I have. Okay. I couldn't think of anything, so I wanted to go the sexual route. But I was like,
what were you gonna? I was gonna say, well, what were you gonna say?
I can't think of anything that outside of stuff that I've done though. So that's why I was like kind of blocked out. So that would have been better in a group because then maybe I could like say some things that other people could get out. But some of the questions, like for examples on stuff like this, are, I'm not looking at the same thing anymore.
Sorry.
Never have I ever shot a gun. Never have I ever shoplifted. Have you done any of these things? You can go through and say yes or no to these things.
I shot a gun for sure. I had my CHL in Texas.
Never have you ever jumped
have you
from
shot a gun?
roof? Yep.
Yep, jumped from roof.
Never have you ever been caught cheating on a test?
Nope.
Never have you ever cheated on a test?
Nope.
Yeah,
that's a lie. I'm pretty sure I have at some point. Pretty sure I have at some point.
So, what are some things that you've never done that are on your list to try?
Skydiving. Absolutely. I want to do that, and I haven't done it yet. So that's something for sure. What's something on yours?
Is it? Something that's on things that are on my list to try are there's a couple sexual things still that I would say. Anything else would be like just regular stuff I just haven't gotten around to doing yet, or just haven't had the opportunity to do. But as far as like something super adventurous, I can't think of anything that's like super risky right now, or anything that's like I don't know, that I'd be nervous about or think twice about maybe.
Yeah.
Are there things that you've done that you think somebody else would think is out of character for you, or do you think you pretty much fall in line with who people might assume or kind of think you are based off of what they've heard from you and see of you?
There are some things also on my sexual, like, never have ever but want to list, just haven't done them. But I would say, so to answer your question, I think there are things that I've done that are out of character that people don't associate me with. And I'll just tell a story. Like in college, the bros thought, they were like talking, they're like, yeah, some Carlie's a virgin. And I was just like, what? Like, oh, that's interesting that people perceive me as that. Okay, cool. That's like your perception.
When was this though?
I mean, college, that's what I'm saying, but it was in college. But people have different perceptions of things, and so I think, you know, some things I have done are out of
So people
character.
think you don't have sex? Is that what you're saying?
No, in college, like,
so in college people think you did not have sex.
Some of them did.
And I did not have sex until I was 24 maybe.
And I would say that people would probably, I don't know.
Oh, and based off of my reviews, they would absolutely not think that. But I'm also like super like free, and I also don't necessarily have a long list of people that I've been with, but I have tried a lot of things, and I'm down for a lot of things. There's literally nothing that anybody's ever said that I would not try to do or have not done. So in what areas of your life are you most exploratory? I don't want to answer for you, but I kind of have an idea.
Okay.
For you, I would say maybe like with travel and food and stuff, culture stuff.
That's definitely what I was. Travel, food, culture, like business, like trying different things, art, creating. I'm always on an adventure to find something, do something, wonder, explore. But I would say that I'm probably pretty open in most of them. Like, I was trying to think of areas where like I wouldn't be.
Well, let's take it back to things that we're not supposed to do. So what about things like shoplifting, stealing, or things like that, as far as like things you would try or would explore?
Yeah, no, stealing is hard for me. I couldn't, even when I was little, I like had a moral compass and couldn't steal things. I would feel really bad. Which, yeah, I don't know. But like when friends were lifting like candy, and then people started lifting makeup and CDs and all kinds of stuff, like I was not about that life.
So in which area would you say you're least exploratory?
I wouldn't say rule breaking, because I don't have an issue breaking rules. It's just certain ones, like stealing is not really my thing. But I have done other questionable things, like when it comes to stuff like that. Like when I was in middle school, we lived by this hotel. We would like and by community college, and so you're not supposed to ride bikes on campus, so we would go mess with the little security cops and then like ride our bikes around. They would be chasing us and like running around doing stuff, and then in the hotel we would be doing the same thing, like nonsense.
So just being hooligans
basically. But I think that people probably wouldn't think that I would do things like that.
We're also talking about middle school, so as an adult though, like do you have any types of stuff like that? Like, have you ever done anything daring, or like what would you say is the last like daring type thing that you've tried or done?
One of my homeboys, he's a photographer, and we had to like hop a couple fences to go get this shot that he wanted, and we almost got arrested, but then they found out he was in the Navy and like they were cool with it. Okay. But we almost got arrested, and that was like last year.
That's cool. When you're thinking about those types of things that you've done in your life, do you feel more proud or do you feel more ashamed?
Proud.
Why?
I mean, because we wanted to do something and we did it. Got the shot and everything.
Have you ever done something and then got in trouble, or there was consequences, and then you still felt proud?
I'm trying to think of stuff as an adult that's really out there that I've done that I wouldn't be proud of, and I really can't think of too many. Do you have any? Yeah,
because I guess that when it comes to doing those types of things, you're doing it because you're saying like, oh man, I want to either get this rush or do this because of whatever reason. And so to do it, means like you're really doing it. So not necessarily that we're talking about you're trying to sneak around or do something like shameful per se. Like to you, if you're doing it, I guess, like if you're streaking or if you're running out on a tab or if you're having sex in a pool or something like that, like you're doing it because you like being at that boundary, probably, or you feel like this gives it a little bit more of a thrill. So would you say that you're a thrill chaser or not so much?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't say I'm a thrill chaser. I would say that I'm an adventurer for sure. Like I'm very adventurous, and if I'm in the moment and I want to do something, like I'll do it. But I don't like go seeking thrills. It's not like I'm an adrenaline junkie or, have to do that. But there are a lot of things that I do because I want to, and it's like great in the moment.
Okay. Is there anything that's kept you from trying something new or stepping out to do something because you felt like it was too reckless or you didn't want to seem reckless?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot, we live in California, but in a lot of times, like people like try a lot of psychedelics and do a bunch of stuff that take them on journeys and open their mind. And I'm always like, man, like that actually sounds like something that I would try at some point. But then part of me is like, oh, but I can't, because I'm the person that always, is together and is not doing that. Or like, what if I died? Like, how do I explain that to God? Like, I kind of like go through this whole little thing that keeps me from.
So what is it that's keeping you from it? Feeling like you shouldn't do it?
Yeah, or like, what if
there's something that you see as a negative about that thing that you don't want to be associated with?
Yeah, well, the possibility of dying, which I don't know, like,
or just that, yeah. Like, I mean, you can weigh the risk of particular things and then make that assessment too.
Exactly. And so I think that's probably it for me, is I'm like, oh.
From psychedelics?
And that's what I said. I need to do more research. I got to do more research. But I was like, I don't know how I could have that conversation with God. But that is, yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
My only assessment would be if I feel like I'm going to get caught or not. And if I feel like it's low enough that I'm not going to get caught, then I would do it.
On a scale of like 1 to 10, 10 being caught, 1 being like in the clear, like how far towards
caught?
that line? Yeah. Is enough for like the thrill, but like, or enough for you to be like, nah, I don't want to do this?
I don't know. So, because some of the things that I've done, maybe like a little younger, like when I look back at them, they were more reckless because I wasn't really thinking about what would happen if I got caught or not. Like I was in another country, like crazy shoplifting and stuff. So, I just never did get in trouble, and so I would just do what I wanted to do.
Would you call yourself a thrill chaser?
No. I don't think I am. Maybe I was at a point, but right now I don't think I am. I know for myself what I like about pushing things, like never have I ever stuff, is I like pushing other people's limits to try things or to do things that they haven't done. And so I may be a person who is like pushing something on, like to try to get somebody else to try something.
Oh yeah, I can see that for sure. I mean, but also just you have a gift of like pushing people, like questioning them, like, well, what is it about that thing, and like not letting people like skate by with stuff. So I could see how that could help them expand their mind into actually trying things, or at least examining why it's a thing that they don't want to try.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, everything is about examining, but I think a lot of times when I look back though is that I wasn't thinking about any of this. Like I wasn't thinking too hard. I don't think I was always weighing things. Maybe I would now a little bit more, or depending on what it is. I think now I more so weigh, is this getting me towards like what I'm trying to do or not? But if it's not that serious, then it's just maybe it's just about what I may risk from, how it looks, if there's people around, or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
But most of these things I don't even consider that serious, like to think of it as taking me away from like my dreams or anything.
Same. I think it's interesting. I probably would consider myself more free now as an adult maybe than when I was younger, because I just had this innate thing like that I had to always be the perfect kid to get to where I wanted to be. So like in my dreams, and now I realize like some of it really isn't all that serious. Like you can have fun, and there is freedom to do different things, and like also be in alignment.
Yeah. And I have suffered, I say suffer, but like it actually some pretty bad stuff, but it's also, looking back, it still to me doesn't make me think, oh, I shouldn't have done that thing. But I've had like super consequences to some of the wildest things I've done. That I would not talk about on this podcast. And even still, I'm like, and have done multiple times, like have seen those consequences multiple times and still did things. So I don't know. I think sometimes there's certain things I also don't care about. Like I just did not care about. So I think it depends on what area you're talking about. But for the most part, I do encourage people. I think it's important to be spontaneous and to not be too much of a nerd in the box, because um, life is about experiences, and I think it's good to like experience different things to kind of push your limits with certain stuff. Not necessarily saying you should go cheat on a test or a person or steal or rob or whatever. Um, but there are like little things you can do sometimes to like be a little bit more daring in your life. But there's some benefits of trying new things. So I wanted to go over what some of those benefits are to kind of pushing the line a little bit, trying new things. One is that you'll feel less stuck and stagnant if you get to points where you just feel like every day is the exact same and you need to just do something different. Like challenge yourself too. Do things a little bit differently. Try something new. Get out somewhere different with somebody different. Whatever you need to do, but like just break out of that stagnant cycle.
Yeah, add a little spice to your life. Another one is to overcome your fears. Like if you have a fear of heights, maybe you like go to the Chicago Tower, walk out on the little like overlook, like, you know, just trying things to get you outside of your box. Like maybe you're terrified of snakes and you go to a pet store and do that, or as long as it's not a phobia, because then that's a whole other thing. But, you know, finding ways to challenge yourself and to realize that sometimes things aren't as bad as we build them up to be in our heads can be really freeing.
And I think one of the most important things is that you learn more about what you actually like and don't like. I'm not surprised, actually. I was going to say I'm surprised. I'm not surprised, as I've talked to more people, that most people don't really even know their bodies. They don't know what they like because they don't do anything. They haven't tried anything with themselves or with other people. And it's like, how do you find like what you actually enjoy and what you don't enjoy if you don't try things? So I think that's a big thing when it comes to whether it's food or whether it comes to how many sexual partners at a time you want. Like you should just figure those things out and see what things you do enjoy.
And realizing why you have those limits in the first place that have been stopping you. Another reason is it can help you stimulate creativity. Like if you're doing the same thing every single day and not really exploring other things, then life can get monotonous and boring. And they say like by age 35, like 90% of our thoughts are the same, or something wild like that. It's in the high like 80s, 90% of the same thing. And so mixing up your routine, trying new things, challenging yourself, being more spontaneous can help keep your mind sharp and help you open up to different things, learn new stuff about yourself.
And in the process, you also build confidence in yourself. I think that comes with trying any different thing or new thing, because you are kind of pushing what you thought as far as whatever your beliefs were, that you were limited from doing something, or that you wouldn't think you'd like a thing or would be able to ever do a thing. And so that continues to push your confidence to where like now I really can't say like there's literally nothing I could think of that I'm afraid of. And that's because I feel like I am very confident in like anything that I would try or have tried.
That's awesome. Another one is it helps you to live more flexibly. And I would add that it helps you to be more adaptable to whatever's happening in your life, like with ebbs and flows, with ups and downs, with twists and turns. Like it's kind of like a roller coaster. If you're always just going straight down this same track, it can get pretty boring. And so just encouraging yourself to be more bendy with what's happening in your life.
And also, I think that these are the type of experiences that you remember for a long time. And so you can bond with people, whether it's my friend, shout out to Rhea, when we broke in an embassy, or whether it's like the zillion other things that I have done, or the time that I took my clothes off outside before this guy would let me in his house. So there's lots of cool things, but there's stories that you'll always remember and be able to send that toxic text to remind them of later on down the road. So remember those things. And like when you're out and about, I mean, I guess you don't always have to be like running around and doing all the crazy stuff, but just being open to enjoying yourself and having a good time.
And I want to add on that. So one of my goals in life, she mentioned me baking a cake earlier for somebody, which I have, and I do. I like to bake cakes, figuratively and literally. And I want to be like Big Mama, but not like big, but like medium mama. So I want to be able to cook really well, but I also really want to have great stories to embarrass my grandkids, so that whenever they bring people over, I'm like, back in your day, you know what I'm saying? Or back in my day, your granny, man.
Talking about yourself?
Oh, absolutely. To embarrass them, for sure.
But what are you going to say?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I gotta have some experiences so I can have these stories.
I have like, some. Okay, and I'm 10 and have already done. all those things.
Underestimating me. That's fine. Like I said, my life is a little bit different than some people perceive. Just a little bit, though. Working on that. But I do want to have some cool stories to embarrass my grandkids. So I challenge you to do some things that you can have some cool stories for your grandkids.
Mm-hmm. And then this week, through IG stories or through Twitter, whatever you want, I don't care. I'm going to play Never Have You Ever. So feel free to ask. Hit me with @Lextopia with a Never Have I Ever. I will probably answer it. And if I could think of some, I'll probably throw some out there too. So for those of you who listen, you may recognize it from this episode this week and be able to throw in your answers if you've done a thing or not.
At Lextopia, at CC Fierce, at Carlie's Couch. Let us know. I would love to participate too. So send me some stuff. I'll be thinking of some cool stuff. And I'm going to try to get Lex on some more stuff.
What do you mean? Stuff that I haven't done? Stuff that I've done? Or get me out?
Yes. I'm learning things.
All right, girl. This week, we have a shout out. Do you want to give it or do you want me to do it?
I'll give it.
Okay.
So this week's shout out is Unpacked Angles with Nannearl. It is a UX focused site/blog and is all about broadening perspectives on UX, self-care, travel, and more through informational content, interviews, practical tips, etc. Nannearl created Unpacked Angles because she didn't see many people who look like her in the UX field and wanted to be able to share her perspective and also create a space where people can have community. So check her out at unpackedangles.com.
Yep. Shout out Nannearl. Getting out there, being a thought leader. We see you.
Thought leader.
And this week's question of the week for you all as well is, if your world could be any movie for a day, what movie would you live in?
Man, what first came to mind was one of the 007 movies. Like one of the most recent ones. Like, I'm trying to be in one of those for a day. What about you?
I would say a Mission Impossible.
The one where similar. He's like on Dubai, like on the building.
Not that one, but one of them.
Okay.
Maybe the first one.
So if y'all's world could be any movie for a day, what movie would you pick?
I like Avatar too. I was trying to think of more other ones that have like worlds in them. Pirates of the Caribbean.
I was thinking about that, but then the first one that came to mind was Jurassic Park, and I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah, you're
like,
wild.
I'm not trying to be in Jurassic
That's not
Park.
one you'd really want to actually be in at all.
And I was like, oh, the beach had a beautiful beach, but then they was killing everybody, so I ain't trying to be there either.
Absolutely not. All right, thanks for listening. See you guys next week.
Bye, y'all.